On our anniversary, the crystal chandelier in the French restaurant cast an icy glow. The candles on the table had burned halfway down, their wax congealed into ugly lumps. The seat across from me stayed empty. I sent Ethan my 9th iMessage of the night. "Han, when are you coming?" The screen lit up, he answered in 2 seconds. "Busy. Stop nagging." I stared at the 4 words, nausea churning through my stomach. Busy. Busy entertaining his first love, Luna. She'd posted on Instagram at dawn, a boarding pass tagged, "I'm back." Location, Eastbrook International. Ethan had vanished the entire day. What am I, a punchline that reminds him he's married? A shadow fell across the table. A man settled into the opposite seat, refined posture, lethal aura. Lucas. My ultimate boss, majority investor in Ethan's company, the one man Ethan fears. Scarlett, dining alone? His voice was low. I tugged at the corners of my mouth and said nothing. "Tired of waiting?" he asked. I picked up my phone, thumb hovering over the block button. Lucas reached out and pressed his warm fingers over mine. A jolt of electricity froze me. "Care to watch a show?" A flicker of mischief crossed his eyes. I met his gaze. "Lucas, what are you plotting?" Instead of answering, he lifted his phone, dialed, and hit speaker. "Ethan, Phantom Lounge, 10 minutes. Ethan's irritated voice crackled through. "Lucas? I'm busy." "What, your wife's here? The bill's unpaid." Lucas hung up. My pulse stuttered. He wiped his fingers on a napkin, unhurried. "He'll come." Sure enough, 9 minutes later Ethan stormed in, fury radiating off him. One look at me beside Lucas, and his rage crystallized into shock and humiliation. "Ethan, what's wrong?" A sugary voice floated behind him. Luna, white dress pristine, curled her arm through his and shot me a victorious smirk. Ethan's face turned slate dark. He tried to shake her off but thought better of it. Lucas rose, pressing the scorching leather check folder to Ethan's chest. "Your wife, eh? Sked when you'd be back to settle the tab." The bill spilled like an accusation, numbers glowing red. Ethan flushed crimson, then white, a living color wheel. Needle-sharp stares skewered him from every table. He glared as though he could devour me alive. Luna's smile faltered, she hadn't expected Lucas beside me. Ethan choked, speechless. Lucas's presence crushed the air out of him. "CEO Vance, can't afford dinner?" Lucas drawled, each word a slap. Humiliation flaring, Ethan thrust a credit card at the waiter. "Swipe it." He snarled at me. "Scarlett, nice move." I held his gaze. For the first time, I didn't flinch. "Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Starting tonight, I'll be even better." "And you, Ethan? Your good days just ended." Back at the Vance estate, silence greeted me like a crypt. Our marital mansion felt wider, emptier than any prison. The peonies and anniversary cake I'd arranged at dawn now looked obscene. I scraped the entire cake into the trash. Upstairs, I hauled Ethan's leather suitcase into the master bedroom and stuffed every item that belonged to him inside: tailored suits, silk ties, the diamond necklace he'd bought Luna then claimed was for me. When the case bulged, I shoved it into the guest room and slammed the door, locking myself in the master. At 2 a.m. violent pounding shook the corridor. "Scarlett! Open up! Where the hell are my things?" I lay motionless on the bed. "Think Lucas protects you? I'm still your husband. You embarrassed me tonight." I opened voice, every roar and bang recorded itself. After 20 minutes the hammering faded to exhausted kicks. "You're just a lucky charm the Vance family bought. Don't provoke me." Silence finally oozed in. Morning. I woke refreshed, painted my face with precision, and stepped over him. He lay crumpled outside the door, reeking of cognac. At the creak of my stilettos he jolted awake, bloodshot eyes blazing. "Scarlett," he grabbed. I stepped back. "Problem?" I asked, voice iced. He stared, disoriented by the stranger above him. "My stuff?" he growled. "Guest room." He rushed in, saw his wrinkled wardrobe crammed like garbage, and erupted. "This is how you treat your husband?" "How should I treat him?" I smiled. "Like you did me, forgetting I exist while you romance your mistress on our anniversary?" Words failed him. I walked downstairs, each step grinding his pride under my heel. "Ethan, the chauvinism ends here. I used to spare you, that courtesy is over." He lunged, seizing my wrist. "Everything you own is mine. What gives you the right?" I shook him off. "Our merger brought the Vance family more profit than you could spend in 10 lifetimes. Keep your pocket change for Luna's next Birkin." I slipped into my heels at the door. "Where do you think you're going?" he barked. "Work. You're staying home today, reflect." I turned, gaze glacial. "You're forgetting 2 things, I'm an employee, and my direct superior is Lucas." If I'm late, will you explain to him? At Lucas's name, Ethan's face twisted, helpless rage cracking through. I strode into morning sunlight, sky clear, but for me the day had only just dawned. Ethan, this is merely the prologue. 3. The instant I entered Vance, the air shifted, furtive glances, whispers trailing me like vapor. I ignored them, stilettos clicking toward my corner office. Zoe shut the door behind us, worry etched on her young face. Scarlett, are you okay? Why wouldn't I be? Everyone's talking about you and Ethan at Phantom, and Lucas being there too. It's all true, I said flatly. Zoe inhaled, scandalized. My desk phone rang, Ethan's secretary. Manager Vance, the CEO requests you upstairs. Neutral words, gloating tone. I straightened my jacket and rode the executive lift. Ethan's scent, bergamot and arrogance, hit me the moment I opened the door. Luna perched on his sofa, triumphant smile waiting. Ethan remained behind his desk, complexion storm black. Close it, he ordered. I shut the door, sealing gossip outside. Scarlett, care to explain last N? Alright, he demanded. I pulled out a chair. Saturday. Aren't you the one who owes explanations? Who I spend time with is my freedom, he declared. Exactly, I said. So is who I dine with. His palm crashed onto the mahogany. That's Lucas, my investor. You've made me a laughingstock. Your reputation isn't my concern. Cold fury snaked through his eyes. Don't push me. Your father's firm still relies on Vance contracts. The old threat. Once, it would have buckled my knees. Not today. Terminate every Vance order if you dare, I replied, calm, lethal. Let's see who the board drags down first. One cut, both arteries bleed, he knew it. His jaw bulged. Luna rose, unable to bear the standoff. Vance, Ethan's just swamped at work. As his wife, you ought to be more understanding instead of making a scene like this. She struck a pose of infinite empathy, but the superiority in her voice spilled right through. And in what capacity are you lecturing me on how to be Vance? I lifted my gaze. Her face stiffened. I'm Ethan's friend. I merely, friend? I cut her off. The kind who locks arms with him to celebrate somebody else's anniversary? My words were a scalpel, slicing through her phony mask with surgical precision. Luna's cheeks flamed scarlet, she shot Ethan a silent plea. Ethan sprang to her defense at once. Scarlett, watch your tone. Luna is my guest. Your guest has no business inside my house, my company, or next to my husband. I stood up, no more seconds to waste. Ethan, if you dragged me here just to watch your little love show, sorry, I'm booked. I turned to leave. Stop right there. Ethan barked. There's a client dinner tonight, critical. You're coming. Busy. I didn't even look back. Say that again? I said I'm busy. I pivoted, eyes glacial. Lucas handed me a $1 billion project. Kick-off meeting tonight. Objections? I played the Lucas card once more. Ethan's knuckles cracked, veins bulging, yet not a single syllable left his throat. He couldn't afford to cross Lucas, absolutely could not. Luna watched him deflate, jealousy blazing so hot it almost took form. I yanked the door open and strode out under their burning, helpless stares. Sweet. A sweetness I'd never tasted before. For that evening the project kickoff really did run late, just as I'd said. Lucas, the ultimate decision-maker, stayed for every minute. He occupied the head of the table, intimidating without raising his voice, each question a direct hit. The entire team kept their breaths shallow. Only I remained unruffled. When the meeting finally ended it was nearly 11. The staff scurried out, grateful for the reprieve. Lucas stopped me. Scarlett, stay a moment. The cavernous boardroom held only us two. Lucas, what else do you need? I asked. Instead of answering he walked to the floor-to-ceiling glass and studied the city glow. After a while he spoke, voice low. How was your day? The question startled me. Fine. Ethan didn't give you trouble? He doesn't dare. Truth. Lucas turned. He doesn't dare because of me. What if one day I'm not around? His gaze was a bottomless lake, and it made my pulse flutter. Lucas must be joking. I never joke. He stepped close enough for the crisp cedar of his cologne to brush me. Scarlett, you're too smart to believe Ethan is the right man for you. My heart clenched. That's personal. I dropped my eyes, hiding the crack. When it starts jeopardizing company projects, it ceases to be personal. His tone brooked no dissent. I snapped my head up. My private life hasn't touched my work. Hasn't it? He countered. If I hadn't scheduled this meeting, would you have accompanied Ethan to that dinner? I had no answer. A man who makes you compromise and sacrifice your career, he's worth it. Worth or not, it's my choice. My voice trembled. He fell silent. The air thickened. Finally he exhaled, gentler. Sorry. I overstepped. He pulled a small vial from his pocket and offered it. What's this? Hangover relief pills. Figured you might need them tonight. Looking at the bottle, I tasted every flavor of contradiction. Ethan would push me to drink, Lucas had already prepared the antidote. Comparison truly hurts. Thanks, Lucas. I took it. Head home. Drive safe. I nodded and reached the door, then turned on impulse. Lucas, why are you helping me? Something unreadable flickered in his eyes. Because I'm your boss, he said. Caring about staff is standard. Impeccable answer. Back at the Vance estate, the place was pitch black. Ethan hadn't returned. Probably at some hotel with his Luna. I checked my phone, 15 voice memos from Eleanor, my mother-in-law. I tapped one. Her shrill screech filled the room. Scarlett, don't you have an ounce of wifely decency? Ethan told me everything, you're out of control. Think you can fly solo now? Staying out all night with men. The Vance family must have committed grave sins to end up with a jinx like you. I listened without expression, then deleted every clip. Finally I dragged her number into the blocked list. Silence, glorious. I showered and lay on the vast bed, staring at the ceiling, realizing for the first time that this cage felt a little less suffocating. As long as the heart is free, the address hardly matters. 5 next morning Eleanor cornered me in the executive garage. She'd dressed for battle, yet her twisted features ruined any elegance. Scarlett, you little bitch, dare block me? She lunged, hand raised to strike. I caught her wrist in time. Vance, use your words. Assault is unbecoming. Becoming, she shrieked. You humiliated Ethan and talked to me about manners? I humiliated him? I laughed. Your son keeps a mistress, yet you scold me? Save the tantrum. Lies. Luna is only Ethan's friend, she blustered. Friend? I unlocked my phone and showed her a screen cap, Luna's Instagram, an intimate hotel selfie with Ethan, deleted minutes later but preserved by me. Eleanor's face drained of color, words failed her. Still believe they were just friends? Her lips quivered as she pointed. You viper. You set Ethan up. I'm simply reclaiming what's mine and protecting myself. I flung her hand away and left. She raved behind me. I tuned her out. The best way to deal with a rabid dog is distance, otherwise you're the one who gets bitten. 6 word reached Ethan within the hour. He stormed into my corner office and slammed a stack of documents on my desk in front of the entire floor. Scarlett, what did you do to my mother? The room froze. Colleagues kept their heads down, fingers tapping keyboards, ears wide open. I looked up slowly. I did nothing. She ambushed me, screaming and swinging. And you deny it? She's your elder. She's your elder, not mine, I corrected. My mother doesn't play hoodlum in parking garages. His chest heaved. Vance, if you're finished, please exit. This is a workplace, not your living room. My calm detonated his rage. He jabbed a finger at me. Scarlett, mark my words, you'll regret this. Then he stormed out, door rattling on its hinges. Zoe slid closer, whispering, Scarlett, you think he'll strike back? Let him. I knew Ethan, cornered, would pull anything. His softest spot, his shaky CEO seat and fragile pride. His sharpest weapon, my father's firm. Sure enough, Dad called that afternoon, voice grave. Scarlett, has Ethan lost it? He's killing every contract with us, unilaterally. My stomach dropped. Dad, stay calm. Easy for you. Half our cash flow rides on Vance. With this, we can't cover payroll next month. He's squeezing me, I reasoned. Forcing me to crawl back and play the obedient Vance. That bastard. Dad broke into coughs. Scarlett, maybe soften for now? Dad. I cut in. If I bow today, I'll never straighten my spine again. Then what? The company? Trust me. Give me 3 days. I hung up and stared out the window. Ethan, you finally played that card. You think throttling my father makes me bow. You underestimate me. And the man behind me. I picked up the terminated agreement, walked straight into Lucas's office, and knocked. He looked up from a file and motioned me in. Lucas, sorry to intrude. I laid the folder on his desk. He scanned it, understanding in seconds. Ethan's handiwork? Yes. Reason? None, unilateral breach. Lucas set the papers down, leaned back, fingers steepled. He wants to bend you. Precisely. Your move? He studied me, testing. I need your help. No detours. Oh? A brow lifted. What sort? To clear a path for Luna's studio, Ethan diverted company project funds. Are you aware? I'd done my homework before stepping in. Vance's newest materials research initiative had lately stalled, and its cash pipeline was hemorrhaging. Connect the two dots and the picture snapped into focus. Lucas's gaze turned razor sharp. Keep talking. You personally greenlit the project. If Ethan touched that money, he stuck his finger in your cake. One solid paper trail and he coughs up every dollar, and loses the corner office for good. Evidence? That's why I'm here, I said. I need your clearance to pull every departmental wire transfer and every second of security footage. Alone, I can't get through the door. He studied me in a long, soundless stretch, so long I thought the answer was no. Then he smiled. Scarlett, you're even better than I pictured. The praise made my skin prickle. Name it, it's yours. He rose and moved beside me. Tell me what you need. His backing felt like adrenaline straight to the heart. I want a forensic accountant who can't be bought, someone who'll find the cracks in the books. Done. I'll put you with my lead CPA from Hartley Associates. Hartley was the most feared corporate law firm in the city. Their finance squad never lost. Second, stalled Ethan. I need time to dig, and he can't sniff the audit. Easy. Lucas snapped his fingers. Tomorrow he flies to Europe, 7-day roadshow. His speed stunned me. Problems I saw as mountains collapsed into molehills with one call. Hat was the narcotic called power. Thank you, Lucas. I meant every syllable. Don't thank me. His eyes burned into mine. I'm making an investment. An investment? Yes. In a future that's worth owning. The words carried a promise that thudded against my ribs. My heart skipped. Ethan sounded dazed when the travel memo hit his phone. He dialed me, livid. Scarlett. Was this you? Did Lucas ship me off to get me out of your way? I was cross-checking ledgers with the CPA he'd sent and didn't have the patience. Vance, headquarters made the call, far above my pay grade. Cut the crap. Who else would pull this? If that's what you want to believe, fine. I yawned. You, just wait. When I'm back, I ended the call. For the next week I practically lived in the boardroom. With the forensic team we unearthed Ethan's footprints in days, a daisy chain of shell companies siphoning project funds until $50 million washed up in Luna's Atelier account. Enough to buy him a decade behind bars. When the final wire receipts were in my hand I was shaking, not from fear, from hunger. Ethan, your expiration date just arrived. I bundled everything, one copy zipped to Lucas, one encrypted in my private inbox. His reply was instant. Perfect. What's your next play? Next play? I wanted his name scraped off the building, his fortune zeroed out. I wanted him to pay for every humiliation he'd served me, and for what he'd done to my father. Lucas, one more favor. Say it. The day Ethan lands, Luna throws her launch gala, crowing about the first big contract Ethan strong-armed away from a rival. You want to unmask him there? Exactly. I would strip his mask in front of every A-lister in Eastbrook. Let his pristine Luna feel the plummet from Cloud 9. Lucas hesitated. Wiping him out will nosedive Vance stock, I'll eat a 9-figure loss. I know. I wasn't naive, he was a shark, not a saint. So here's my offer, I said. Before the party, my father will transfer every Vance share he owns to you, at rock-bottom market price. The Vance family was the conglomerate's second largest stakeholder. Those shares would weld Lucas's control of the board. My blood oath, I added, and my thank you. Scarlett, he said softly, you don't have to. I do. I cut him off. This isn't a transaction, it's my choice. I won't be indebted. A quiet breath drifted down the line, almost a sigh. All right. I'll walk in with you that night. With his word, the last stone slid off my chest. Now I only had to wait. Wait for Judgment Day. The returning Ethan stepped off the Gulfstream glowing. Europe had caved, another trophy for the king. He strolled into the marital mansion. I wasn't there. Calls went to voicemail. I messaged, Scarlett, quit the vanishing act. You will come to Luna's gala tonight. I want you to watch her win and finally get it through your head. You, me, her, we're not even in the same universe. I want you to admit defeat. Reading his delusions, I laughed aloud. Doomsday knocking, and he's still scripting fairy tales. I typed back one letter. K. Oh, I'd be there. Wild horses couldn't keep me from the best show of his life. 7 Luna's launch party was a spectacle. She'd rented the grand ballroom at the Meridian, chandeliers blazing, guest list dripping with old money heirs, hedge fund czars, and catwalk royalty. Ethan played co-host, basking in applause beside her. Luna floated in haute couture, diamonds at her throat, smile lacquered in place. She clung to Ethan's arm, advertising her triumph. Vance is a visionary, so generous to Luna. A match made in heaven, pure power couple goals. Each compliment swelled Ethan's grin, he fed on all the way addicts feed on powder. Swirling champagne, he scanned the crowd, hunting. He wanted me wrecked and seething in the front row. Too bad for him. When the ballroom doors reopened, every head swiveled. Lucas strode in, midnight suit immaculate, dominance radiating like a shockwave. I glided beside him in a blood-red silk gown, hand curled around his arm. Silence detonated. Music, chatter, even ice clinks, everything died. 1,000 stares, shock, curiosity, scandal, pinned me in place. Ethan's grin fossilized. He looked as if he'd seen a corpse rise. Luna's face drained to chalk, she jerked away from Ethan, terror flickering naked in her eyes. Lucas and I ignored the hurricane of whispers and aimed for the stage. Ethan snapped out of it and charged, arms spread to block us. Scarlet. What are you, Lucas? Explanation. 2 hulking bodyguards materialized, clamping his shoulders. Vance, restrain yourself. Stone walls had more warmth. I lifted the presenter's microphone, tapped it once. The soft thud echoed through the hall. Good evening. I'm Scarlet, Ethan's wife. Gasps ricocheted like bullets. His wife? I thought he and Luna were the item? Ethan's expression curdled into something grotesque. Scarlet, get down. Lucas, call them off, he roared. I let the noise roll past. Tonight we celebrate Luna's boutique debut, and as Vance I brought a gift worthy of the occasion. I flicked a glance at Lucas, he signaled with one finger. The rear wall screen flared to life. No congratulatory montage, just stark banking records. These are the internal wire logs for Vance Materials project. My voice rang cold, clear. Notice, starting 3 months ago, funds were routed through 13 shell entities before landing in a personal account. The account owner? Our hostess, Luna. Her driver's license photo and bank details filled the screen. Guilt cast in neon. Chaos detonated below. 50 million? Embezzled? So the studio was bankrolled with stolen cash, some self-made fairy tale. Luna quivered, knees buckling, complexion corpse white. And no, I didn't. I had no idea. She babbled. Ethan thrashed against iron grips. You witch. You set me up. Set you up? I let a slow smile slice across my face. The encore hasn't even started. The monitor cut to surveillance footage. Frame by frame, A.T. Han's corner office. Ethan brags to Luna on screen, relax, babe, 50 mil is only the appetizer. Once the atelier's running, I'll drag her old man down with us, then the whole Vance empire is ours. You're incredible, Luna simpers, melting into him. The clip ended. The ballroom ossified into a mausoleum. Every eye branded them trash. Greed. Shameless. Contemptible. Every rosy filter I'd ever looked through shattered in that instant. I stared down at Ethan, whose face had turned the color of wet ash, and pulled the divorce petition I'd drafted weeks earlier from my clutch. Ethan. I flung the paper straight at his face. Sheets snowed around him like a white storm. You walk away with nothing. The company is mine. Oh, and I almost forgot. I hooked my arm through Lucas's and smiled wide. My father has already transferred every equity stake to Lucas. He's your real boss now. My words were the final straw that snapped the camel's back. Ethan's knees buckled and he crumpled to the floor. His eyes were drowning pools of despair and regret. It was over. The gala turned into a full-blown circus. Police arrived within minutes and led away the ashen-faced Ethan and the hollow-eyed Luna. Embezzlement, securities fraud, every charge documented, every escape route sealed. The law would have its pound of flesh. Guests scattered like spooked pigeons. The ones who dared look back did so with a mixture of awe and pity. Soon the ballroom was empty except for Lucas and me. I stood on the stage, surveying the wreckage, and the tension that had been holding me together snapped. The room spiraled, my legs almost folded. Lucas vaulted up the steps in a single stride and caught me before I hit the floor. It's done, he murmured, his palm steady against my back, his voice low and immovable. I sagged into him, listening to the even drum of his heartbeat, the last illusion of strength evaporating. Tears came, not of sorrow or injustice, but release. I had finally punctuated a fully AR of swallowed humiliation with a period. I had tolled the death knell for a farcical marriage. Lucas said nothing. He simply held me while my tears soaked the silk lapel of his brioni. His arms were warm, a breakwater against the storm. I cried until every last drop of poison was out, until my breathing leveled. When I stepped back, embarrassment flushed my cheeks. Sorry about your jacket. It's just cloth, he said, pulling out a linen handkerchief to blot the streaks from my face. I'd rather see you smile than watch you bleed tears. The gesture was gentle, his gaze softer than I'd ever known it. My heart lurched against my ribs. Lucas, thank you for tonight. I told you, I invest. He tucked the handkerchief away and let a slow grin surface. The return is already spectacular. Still, I owe you a massive favor. Then pay it back with the rest of your life, he replied, suddenly serious. I blinked. What? Scarlett. His eyes locked on mine, the playfulness gone. I may not be the man an algorithm would match you with, but I will be the one who spends every day proving he's the only choice. Be my girlfriend, will you? Was this a confession? My mind went blank. It was too fast, too much. I'd stepped out of one cage and landed in a velvet trap within hours. I need time to think, I stammered, looking away. Take it. His patience was absolute. I'll wait, however long. He drove me home. Not to the marital mansion Ethan and I had shared, but to the little glass-walled condo I'd bought as a bolt hole before the wedding. The car idled at the curb. Go upstairs and sleep, he said. You too, get some rest, I answered, fingers on the seatbelt latch. He caught my wrist. Scarlett. Stop calling me Lucas. Then what? Lucas. In the hush of the cabin it sounded like a vow. I met his gaze, nodded without knowing why. Lucas. He smiled, and the city lights in his eyes outsparkled the night. I slept deeper than I had in years, no nightmares, no jolts awake. Next morning the scandal was everywhere. Dance stock price plummeted, slicing itself nearly in half. The board convened an emergency session and stripped Ethan of every title. Lucas, already the majority shareholder thanks to my father's transfer, walked in and took the chairman's seat without resistance. The script I'd imagined was playing out, scene after scene, smoother than I'd dared hope. I filed my resignation and served the divorce petition. Ethan, held without bail, refused every visitor, even his parents. Word was, Eleanor and her husband aged overnight, their hair turning white as they hawked property to bankroll a defense no attorney would touch. No one was reckless enough to cross Lucas. Eastbrook had a new monarch. 9 I disappeared for a full month. Phone off, email buried, socials dark. I drifted through airports and coastlines, exhaled the last of the bitterness I'd carried for a year, and came back feeling newborn. I texted Zoe to meet for lunch. She tackled me on the sidewalk in a flying hug. Scarlett. You're back. I missed you like crazy. Missed you too, I laughed, returning the squeeze. You're glowing, like actually radioactive with good vibes, she said, dragging me inside the bistro. Over tacos she served fresh gossip like chilled margaritas. Ethan got 12 years, Luna 5. When the judge read your evidence Ethan lost it, sobbing, snot, the whole 9 yards, begging you to forgive him. I sipped my water, face neutral. Forgiveness? The deadline had passed. The Vance family is toast. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, the works. Eleanor couldn't take it, stroke, paralyzed on the left side. She's in St. Luke's rehab now. Retribution, delivered COD. So, Zoe leaned in, voice lowered, Lucas, he's totally courting you, right? I almost aspirated a tortilla chip. Stop. Please, the entire building knows. She wiggled her brows. First thing Lucas did after the takeover? Reinstated your project and told everyone it's on ice until Scarlett returns. Had constructee on punch through the wall next to your old office, built you a corner suite twice the size. If that's not a mating dance, what is? My pulse stuttered. He'd done all that? And he pings me daily, has she checked in yet? Girl, snag that man before someone else does. I stared at the lime wedge circling my glass while memories of Lucas cascaded, his calm in every storm, his laser focus shielding me. The way he offered choices when I'd only ever been told what to do. Could anyone stay immune to that? After lunch I waved Zoe off, then, on pure impulse, rode to the tower. I stood on the pavement, heartbeat punching my ribs. Elevator up, badge still worked. Every floor greeted me like returning royalty, whispers replaced the old daggers. I reached my refurbished office, sunlight across matte white desks, a single pot of blooming sunflowers centered on the lacquered top. Warmth flooded my chest. I pivoted toward the executive elevator to find him, and collided with Charlotte. Sorry, I said automatically. Scarlett? Her expression curdled into something complicated. Charlotte. I offered a polite nod. Looking for Lucas? She asked. Yes. He's with a client. Probably no time for drop-ins. The words were clipped. I'll wait. Scarlett. Her tone iced over. Some things aren't yours to reach for. Don't. I frowned. I don't follow. She gave a thin, humorless laugh. Don't play dumb. Lucas helped you get Ethan, fine. But don't mistake that for a coronation. He backs winners, it's what he does. Your flavor of the quarter, not dynasty material. Each syllable was an ice pick. A divorced woman from nowhere? You seriously think you rate beside him? Know your place before you embarrass yourself, and him. I went cold from scalp to soles. Right, how had I forgotten? Lucas lived on the summit I was still climbing. Whatever tenderness he'd shown might be impulse, or worse, strategy. Who was I to imagine more? Charlotte's words sliced the thread of every daydream I hadn't realized I'd bray. Dead. 10 I don't remember the ride down or the walk out. I sat on a bench amid streaming traffic, brain looping her sentences. A divorced woman, who do you think you are? Exactly, who did I think I was? The phone rang. It was Lucas. I stared at the pulsing name on the screen for a long moment before I picked up. Where are you? His voice was as steady as always. Out, somewhere. Charlotte told me you came to the office? Yeah, a few things to handle. He caught the low note in my tone. What's wrong? You don't sound like yourself. Nothing. Scarlett. He said my name with new gravity. Tell me where. I'll come. I gave him the address. Barely 20 minutes later his understated black Bentley glided to the curb. He stepped out, strode over, and draped his coat across my shoulders. This little fabric and you want pneumonia? The scold was gentle. I hugged the coat closer. It still held the warmth of his body and the woody scent that steadies me. What happened? He sat beside me, searching my eyes. I looked away, fixing my gaze on the pavement. Lucas, we don't fit. At last I said it. He froze. Why? Charlotte was right. You and I live on different planets. I'm not good enough for you. Charlotte? Realization darkened his face. What poison did she spit at you? She wasn't lying. I lifted my head, eyes stinging. She spoke for your sake. The Cross family needs a daughter-in-law who matches their orbit, not a divorced woman like me. So? His stare sharpened. That's your reason to turn me down? To push me away? Scarlett, do you seriously see me as the kind of man who gives a damn about pedigree and gossip columns? Answer me. For the first time his voice carried fury. The shout startled me, tears almost fell. I don't care what the Cross family thinks. I care what you think. He gripped my shoulders, forcing me to meet his eyes. Tell me, do you feel anything for me at all? Watching the blaze of anger and hurt in his gaze, I couldn't form another refusal. My silence answered for me. The blaze ebbed, replaced by deep resignation. He let go and sank back onto the bench. Scarlett, I admit, it started as an investment. I valued your mind, your talent. But then I watched you endure that marriage, fighting in silence to shield the people you love, and I ached for you. Later, when you stepped onto that stage like a queen and crushed everyone who'd hurt you, my heart pounded for you. I love you, Scarlett, your tenacity, your courage, your brilliant soul. Your past, your status, your divorce decree, none of it matters. If those things weigh you down, I'll help you toss them aside. His words poured through me like warm light, shattering every remaining wall. I buried my face in my hands and sobbed. He pulled me into his arms, stroking my back. Don't cry. From now on, I'm here. Scarlett, give me one more chance, give yourself one more chance, all right? I lifted my tear-blurred face to him. In his eyes lived devotion and unwavering resolve. At last I listened to my heart and nodded. He smiled like a kid handed candy. Then he bent and kissed me, tender, lingering, as though I were something regained. The traffic roared around us, but it felt like scenery painted on glass. In that instant, only he existed in my universe. The next day Lucas brought me to the company. Hand in hand we walked into the new corner office he'd had prepared for me. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, bathing everything in gold. A vase of sunflowers blazed on the desk. Like it? He asked. I love it. He wrapped his arms around me from behind, chin on my shoulder. This is your battlefield from now on. And you? I'm your fortress. A knock sounded. Charlotte. She carried a coffee tray. When she saw us her face drained of color and the tray wobbled. Lucas. Charlotte. His voice chilled. I hired you as my secretary, not my chaperone. Charlotte's cheeks went bloodless. Lucas, yesterday I only decided Scarlett isn't RTHY? Only assumed you could pick my partner for me? I didn't. I merely, effective immediately, you're transferred to the records annex. His verdict was final. Lucas. She stared, pleading. 5 years, I've served you 5 years. You can't do this. 5 years, and you still don't know your place. He didn't even glance at her. Out. Charlotte bit her lip, then shot me a look full of venom, as if I'd ruined her life. I met her gaze without flinching. I'd done nothing wrong. She stumbled out, defeated. I turned to Lucas. Wasn't that a bit harsh? Not at all. He brushed my cheek. Anyone who tries to hurt you pays the price. His possessiveness wrapped me in safety I'd never known. News of us rocketed through headquarters. This time nobody dared whisper behind my back. Everyone greeted me respectfully, Manager Vance. I understood, they bowed not just to me, but to the man behind me. So what? Being protected felt wonderful. I reclaimed every project I'd left, and with Lucas's support I hit full stride within days. We commuted together, lunched together, dined together. He took me to street stalls one night, to Michelin temples the next. He'd binge cheesy soaps with me and debate intricate deal structures until dawn. Every single day felt sweet and new. I learned love could be like this: respect, understanding, support, two people growing into better versions of themselves side by side. 6 months later the judge stamped my final decree. I was, at last, completely free. That evening Lucas proposed. No ballroom, no 5-carat rock. In my tiny apartment he cooked dinner. Then he knelt, holding a ring braided from a sunflower stalk. Scarlett, I know it's humble, but I want you to see my heart, like this sunflower, always turning toward the light, always burning for you. Marry me? Tears sparkling, I looked into his earnest eyes. Yes. I had found my own ray of light. Our wedding took place a month later. Unlike Ethan's spectacle engineered for mergers and headlines, ours was small, family and closest friends only. My father, eyes glistening, squeezed my hand. Scarlett, Daddy's finally seeing you truly happy. On his arm I walked toward the man waiting at the end of the aisle. Lucas gazed at me with so much love it overflowed. We exchanged rings, kissed, embraced amid cheers. The next morning every financial paper led with the story, block letters, VC Titan Lucas weds heiress Scarlett, power couple born. Photos caught us laughing. A copy found its way to the state penitentiary and into Ethan's hands. A guard later told me Ethan stared at the headline forever. Then, wild-eyed, he shredded the paper, cursing and howling. Finally he clutched the torn scraps and sobbed like an abandoned child. He was wrong, so wrong, he wailed. For a moonlit phantom he'd thrown away the brightest treasure by his side. If only time could rewind, he'd never let go. But regret is the most worthless thing on earth. His life lay in ruins. Mine was just beginning. Together Lucas and I merged Vance with my family's holdings, forging a new group. I became more than his wife, I became the partner who stood toe-to-toe with him in every deal. We wrote one miracle after another into the ledgers. Later we welcomed a daughter, his eyes, my fire. Lucas turned into a total pushover for her, showering us both with every tenderness. I often wonder, if I hadn't met Lucas that anniversary night, if I hadn't dared to pitch him my little watch the show wager, what would I be? Perhaps still waiting night after night in that cold villa for a man who never came home. Perhaps withering in that suffocating marriage until every spark died. But fortune favored me. I seized the chance, and I seized the man who deserved me. I finally understand, a woman's life isn't defined by marriage, nor lived for any man. Only when you are strong enough, clear-eyed enough, can you throw off every chain and become who you were meant to be. And only then do you deserve to embrace the one who is truly worthy of your love. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.